Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Ryan Ochoa. I'm with one of my favorite people ever, Adi Shankar. We are on the Bootleg Universe podcast. Enjoy.
So you're in Guardians of Justice.
Oh, I've been waiting to talk about this.
Yeah, you play. People think you play Spider-Man.
I know.
But you actually play Blue Beetle.
Well, I was told I play Sepia Spider.
Well, Sepia Spider, but sure, they're all kind of like analogs for,
I don't know what to believe at this point.
But yeah, Sepia Spider is the character you play.
Mm-hmm. Which you did tell me was the DC. It was the not knockoff, but it was the Guardians version of the DC Blue Beetle.
Yes.
That's what you told me.
Yes.
Because I did say, oh, so I'm like the Spider-Man. You're like, actually, no. I vividly remember you telling me that. You're like, actually, no, you are the version of Blue Beetle, which is the DC.
Right. Yeah, and I kind of conceived the role specifically for you.
I remember you told me you were just like, you need to be Spider-Man. I'll never forget that. That's crazy. And what are the odds of that, though, that Blue Beetle has now just been filmed?
Yeah.
And it's a Hispanic actor.
Well, because it's a Hispanic actor in the comics. But that's kind of specifically why I kind of put you in that spot, because I was like, someone might see this.
You were manifesting it years ago.
I mean, not sort of. Well,
you were manifesting me.
What I saw you as is like, I think there's a version of you that could be this action star. So I wanted to kind of give you some dialogue and then put someone else in a costume and then have them like run and destroy a bunch of people. But people think it's you doing all the stunts.
People still, oh my gosh, you did all your, I'm like, obviously I won't, lie and say that it was me, but
it was you.
But it was me. But again, it was me. But again, like when the initial reaction to me is, oh my gosh, I love your fight scene. You know what I mean? Exactly. Yeah. It's what people see.
Yeah. It's just, there's this show happening. There's all these things happening. There's this plot. And then randomly, there's just this long fight scene with you that just is like almost a non sequitur, which I thought was hilarious. Because I was like, the longer this goes on, the funnier this is. If it's a short fight scene, fine. But the longer it goes on, the funnier it is.
Yeah.
And if this were like a screenplay that was being judged, that would have clearly been cut. You know what I mean? Like, no, you don't, this character and that, there's,
It's a moment in the episode that is definitely memorable. I remember watching it for the first time, and I was not only shocked, but I was amazed. Like, wow, I'm actually kind of cool. You know what I mean? Like, watch it, and I was like, I was impressed. I think that was the word. I was impressed that, wow, this is really, really cool. And again, it's just a moment in the episode that you remember.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, I think another big reason why is it's a kid.
Yeah.
It's a kid. I was surrounded by Kellen, all these, Denise, Rich, Jane Seymour, all these legends. Then you have this kid.
You have like Bridget Nielsen, like literally shooting you in the head. I was like,
oh my gosh,
how am I getting away with this?
I know she is. She made the fact that you added that for us, man. Because not a lot of people know that.
What?
Huh?
No, what?
That scene was added. I don't know if we are allowed to talk about that.
Yeah, we can talk about it. It was like, it was like,
because I only originally had like this much.
Yes.
Then you made my character this much.
Yeah.
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 And
people thought I'd lost my mind.
Yeah. No, but
it was dope. I was like, no, I know what I'm doing on
When-
this. I may have lost my mind in other regards, but I know what I'm doing here.
I remember you called me and you were just like, now that it's cool being able to talk about it, because man, I've wanted to talk about it for so long. When you called me and you were like, Ryan, I have this idea. I just want to run by you. I loved your voiceover that you sent me, but I was just thinking, like, am I crazy or should we get like a really awesome voice actor and have him speak Spanish? And he's like a grungy, has his grungy voice. He's like, I think it would really enhance your character. I'm like, Addie, I believed your vision when you first called me for it. If that's what you think will enhance the character, let's do it. And I mean, my character's awesome, no matter what.
Yeah.
Like my character's really
Your character's
cool.
dope. One of my favorites. What I find like funny about the show is kind of the alternates. They're like the alternate, like the alternate casting. No, the alternate casting, like who
Nighthawk.
almost was. No. Okay, so Bridget Nielsen plays the Anubis Queen.
Yes.
Right?
She was somebody else.
Well, I talked to her and I talked to Jonathan Taylor Thomas at the same time. And there's an alternate world where it's like Jonathan Taylor Thomas is in that role. You know what I mean?
So
Like-
he would have been like the Anubis King.
King, yeah.
Wow.
Or the Anubis god or whatever.
She
yeah.
was just so good.
She was
though.
everyone. It was what was interesting about the project is the right people just said yes every
So,
single time. Like,
Were you talking to me and Tom Holland at the same time? Tom was already casted as Spider-Man.
For you, it was actually like it was like I was originally looking at you for the Little Wing character.
Little Wing.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's the one that like doesn't die.
Yeah. Well, he's the one who says the magic word and becomes Derek Mears.
Yes.
Awesome man. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but no, it was, and then so obviously that didn't work out because the Little Wing character had to be a lot younger and
Yeah,
also
he was way younger.
way younger. Also, a lot more shooting days, a lot more time just kind of around the project, but not the focus of it. And I was like, and I wanted to respect the fact. Granted, I wanted to respect every actor, but I wanted to respect the fact that like I'm like, this is a star. This kid's a star. This kid's been a star. You know what I mean? So I didn't want to like have you in the background.
Fast forward years later, it's on Netflix. I would have done it.
Well, we didn't know it at the time. I'm just like, I'm just fucking around. I'm just trying to. You remember I had this career. I'm trying to like kind of light it on fire. I mean, it's a joke.
But again, it goes back to not even just like saying this, like, oh man, I wish, because I'm obviously super happy and I love my character and it's a great, cameo in the show. But going back to the very first thing, like, I just love working, I love being on set.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's an hour or one day or, 3 months. Like, I would have done it with no hesitation, like I did.
Yeah, like you did.
You
like you
called
did.
me back and said, "Hey, can you come back?" And I was there.
Yeah, you're like, when? Right now? I'm there. And no, like in a week. You're like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Man,
great.
that was so much fun.
was
I was
great.
so devastated when I just thought that it was just like not going to be seen. And when I found out through social media, people were messaging me like crazy. It was the day that, which is really, I don't know if I've talked about this, but it was the day that I got announced for reprising my role on iCarly. I don't know if you know that.
I knew that you were reprising your role, but I didn't know that this happened the same day it was announced that was happening.
So the day the trailer dropped, so I had filmed it before. I won't talk about dates. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but I had filmed it before, obviously. Then the trailer came out that I was in, and I was in the trailer. Nickelodeon, the whole team, obviously, were sending me all the promo stuff to post. So I was like, it all happened so fast. I was overwhelmed. I went and I started going on Instagram like, oh my God, people already saw it. Like Miranda already posted it. Like, well, it's out. So I was looking like, are people talking about Chuck, I'm back. And I would go and I was like, oh, there's a Chuck one there. I was like, reading, Ryan, can't believe you're in Guardians. And I'm like, oh, okay, that might probably spam. Went to the next one, like, who's this? And I'm, Ryan, oh my gosh, you're in Guardians. That's so cool. And I'm like, well, whatever. And then I went to the next one. And then I saw the writer. And I knew when I saw it, I was like, oh my gosh. And then I saw it said, congrats on Guardians, Ryan. That's huge for you. And I was like, okay, now I know Sean. I was like, this is obviously real. So I went to Google and I said, what is Guardians of Justice? And it said, Adi Shankar sells Guardians. And I was like, oh my God, I got chills every time I tell the story. And I called my mom and dad. I was like, guys, and my mom's like, Ryan, congrats on iCarly. I was like, no, mom, that's not it. She's like, what? I was like, Addie, mom, Addie, Guardians of Justice. It's on Netflix. They're like, what? I was like, yeah, Sepia Spider. And I just remember hearing my dad, holy. And when my mom had already literally opened her Netflix phone. Gosh, I'm gonna cry thinking about it. It was like the coolest moment.
Oh, wow.
And it was so awesome. And my brothers like streamed it immediately, all the episodes. And it was so cool because again, it was such a special project. I'm sure, I mean, you know more than anybody, it was your baby. But the fact that I still, going back to what I said about back then, the fact I had more passion and energy and excitement for the project being aired so many years later. We could talk about that, right? Because it was
yeah.
No, it was an
it's
old
pretty
project.
public. It's not that it was an old project. It was just that I had this thing that I was trying to express with it and try to do stylistically. That
the animation that you added
just took forever, and I didn't know how to verbally explain it because how the fuck do you explain to someone? It's going to start with live action, then a piece of it will turn cartoon. Then it'll all turn cartoon. Then it will shift into a different style of cartoon as it becomes claymation. You know what I mean? You're like, so it was like kind of insane. So it took me a long time, not just because the act of doing a mixed media project of that style that's like completely bespoke, right? When you do things that are completely bespoke like that, you don't get the machine. The different machines, like you can't just go to a post house and say, boom, let's get this done, right? It doesn't work that way because now every visual effects shot has to be custom because we have made it super custom, right? There's like a language.
Every shot is a visual effect in that show.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's like all, and it's like, and then you have to, it's like a giant time suck. And the thing also was, and this is now since changed because the guys that, Kenlin and Samuel, who I don't think you've met, and like Graham, also who you haven't met. Like, there was a team that
they were
helped me
after.
Well, because most of the show was made in post production, right? Most of it was animated. Most of it was like so. There was a team that got the show across the finish line with me, and we all kind of have a shared language now. So if I were to have to do this again. Now I have the vocabulary to explain what it is I'm trying to do. There are other people who understand it also because they were there also doing it. And then there are vendors, like just knowing how to go, who to talk to get this kind of shot. It's like there's no like Rolodex where you go, oh, okay, I need a specific type of claymation shot. There's no Rolodex here, right? To like figure all that out. So all that stuff just took a lot of time. And then also I didn't start it with the tools to communicate what I was trying to do. So that was also a huge, huge handicap. And then you get the pandemic.
No blueprint. Yeah, you're right. There's like really no blueprint.
Zero blueprint. Zero.
For what you did.
Zero.
That is what makes the show. I mean, that's why it was number one for so long. Like I'm not just talking about my scene, but when I saw the scene, how you put the animated, I don't want to give anything away, but the spider.
Yeah, give it away. It's fine. We'll cut to it.
The spider on my back.
Yeah.
That is like so creatively thought out that it seriously makes that scene so cool.
Yeah.
When you have and he's a character. It's mind blowing, and it was so worth the wait. Like it wasn't just like it was released. It was you saw it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, this was so worth waiting.
That was the hard thing to explain to people who were involved in the project, like kind of on a, and DDP was with me like kind of every step of the way because he's just a great dude. And like, well, and he was like a cheerleader. He's like, hey bro, shut them all out. Execute your vision, bro. Like
his daughter was my makeup artist.
Yeah, Lexi. Yeah. Who is an announcer for AEW now. So this is a reason for you to watch AEW. But
wow.
Awesome. Yeah, like it was just like this very complicated thing, which I didn't quite know how to express, and I knew I wanted to express it, and then just, and that was the hard thing to explain to, like, really anyone, because it's like, it's not like, as you said, it's not like, okay, we shot it and then it never got done, and then one day it got released, right? It wasn't like one of these movies that like sat in the shelf for years, and then they're like, oh, actually Jesse Eisenberg played a small part in it and he's a star now, so let's release it on. It was not that. It was like Netflix, everyone knew that, they're like, he's working on this every day. And they're like, do you want to release it yet? I'm like, no, it's literally not done. They're like, how is it not done? It looks done. I'm like, yeah, because there's going to be cartoons over it. There's going to be a layer of cartoons over it. But like,
that is,
they're like, where do you know what I'm saying?
Crazy cool story.
Or like all the changes that happen in visual effects, right? Like all the visual effects modifications that happened at every juncture. Like, again, when you looked at the show without it, it looked fine. You're like, why are you adding this? I'm like, no, but this is going to be like fucking cool and crazy. Anyways, we should wrap it up.
Yeah, when you first see the introduction to Sepia Spider and then you see the cartoon flying out, it's so, oh my gosh, it's so cool. Just go watch it.